This video is going to explain how Keltner channels work in stock trading. So on my screen here is a stock chart for Apple. Each of these price bars, also known as price candles, represents 1 day of price activity for the stock. And you'll notice that there are lines going through my chart here. There's a tan one, a blue one, and a red one. These represent Keltner channels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how the lines themselves are calculated, and then I will talk about how a trader or investor can use a Keltner channel to their advantage. So as far as how these are calculated, the middle line, let's start there first. This is a simple moving average, and the default settings for the Keltner channel are a 20-period simple moving average. So basically on this chart, the 20-period simple moving average is calculated at each price candle on each day, and it's plotted, and each of those plot points is connected with a line. It's just a nice visual indicator of the change in the moving average. How is the moving average calculated? It takes, in this case for a 20-period simple moving average, it takes the last 20 periods, and this is a daily chart, so this would be the last 20 trading days. It takes the close price, the last price of the day for those 20 days, and it takes the average of them. So that's what this is. Now this is kind of the anchor for the Keltner channels. The upper Keltner channel and lower Keltner channel are both calculated based on the value of the 20-period moving average. Now by default, what the setting is for the Keltner channel is that the upper Keltner channel is set to 1.5 ATRs higher than the simple moving average. What's an ATR? I have an indicator down here for ATR, and what it is it refers to the average true range. That's what it stands for. And that one's taking, in this case, the default. You can see here the settings are kind of indicated here. The default is 14 days. And so it looks back at the last 14 days and it looks at the true range of those 14 days, and it takes the average. What's the true range? The true range is when you look at any of these price bars, you take the very highest price of that bar and subtract it from the very lowest price. That's the true range. So you take the average of these true range values for the last 14 days by default, and you multiply that times 1.5. And whatever that number is, you add that for any given day to the simple moving average value. And that's what will give you your upper Keltner line value, the one that you see depicted here. And you do the same thing in reverse for the lower Keltner line. You subtract 1.5 ATRs from the simple moving average, and that gives you your plot point down here. And again, these lines, these plot points are connected by a line visually on your chart. I also want to point out that you can modify these settings. Those are the default settings that I just explained. You can edit them. You can change the factor. That would be the multiplier that you used to multiply the ATRs. And I'll talk in a moment about why someone might do that. You can alter the type of average that you use for that moving average line. You can alter which price point you use. So there's a lot of ways to manipulate this or to customize it to your liking. There's potentially a lot of value just in the default settings themselves though. And let's talk about that now. So what are the benefits of using a Keltner channel? How do people use this information? So for one, it's helpful for identifying when there's a trend. So you can see here that all three lines are sloped upward, and this is a good, clear indication that this stock was in an uptrend during this period. Sometimes it's not always so easy to tell. Like this period right here, if you look right here, if you were just looking at the price bars, it might be hard at times to tell what's going on with this stock. Is this in a downtrend right here? Is this an uptrend? It's a little bit hard to tell sometimes just from the price bars alone. So the Keltner channel gives you more information. And here the Keltner channel is flat. That's one clue that maybe the stock at this period in time is not in a trend. Another benefit of Keltner channels is that they can give you information about how strong a trend is. So with this upper Keltner line, for example, If you see price activity that's occurring above that line, that's an indication that it might be a very strong uptrend. And knowing about trends and the strength of trends can be valuable for traders and investors. We've done quite a bit of research and found a number of trading strategies that backtest profitably based on whether the stock is in an uptrend, and if so, how strong of a trend that is. We have separate videos and guides that teach those strategies. The key for this video is just to make it clear that the way you can use a Keltner channel is to gauge information about the stock's trends. One other point that I'd like to make is that you can use this on any time frame as far as the chart goes. So I have a daily time frame, but this could just as easily be a 1 minute time frame where each of these price bars represents 1 minute of price activity. And the way the Keltner channel works would still be the same. It can give you information about the trend for whatever the time frame is that you're looking at. If you ever have questions about Keltner channels or about the stock market in general, you can reach out to us anytime. We'll be ready to help. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.